What's up, beautiful people, and welcome to a sunny morning here in Sagada. It's about 6:45 AM and we're just heading off to try and get some breakfast before we go on a little hike and tour around the local area. We should have bought stuff last night knowing it. This, I'm gonna get this. I'm not quite sure what this is, but that. Salamat. I didn't know what this was, but it looked like a lot of calories, so I thought it was the best option. We've gone for some healthy, huge piece of bread for breakfast and a cereal bar.
Some yogurt breaks. My emergency food rations. Always carry them with you, people.
So, oh, I wanted it to be sweeter. It's alright though. Calories. So we've just met our guide, Mel, over here, and we're up nice and early this morning because we realised that there's a very different kind of weather here. Basically, as soon as it hits the afternoon, sometime between like 12 and 4, the storms just come in, and that's what the local people around here said. So we figured it was worth coming here, getting up early today, and getting out and seeing everything in the glorious sunshine, because as soon as it started raining last night, it was a huge storm, like crazy thunder all afternoon into the evening, and there was like lightning every few seconds. It was really cool to see, but obviously we don't want to be out and exploring at that time. So today we decided, as it's Sherran's last full day with me up here, we would just get a guide to show us around so we could see as much as possible. So we just reached the first kind of little stop, and it's actually a cemetery. Sagada's pretty famous for its hanging coffins that are on a cliff face, but this is where pretty much everyone's buried now. And what's interesting is everyone is buried facing sort of up this way, and you can see that every single gravestone is facing the same way, and that is because it's facing towards the sun, which is rising over there. We can see that because it's still quite early. And they face the sun as it's rising. A place called Echo Valley, and this is why. Woo! Did you hear that? I hope you heard that, because that was quite a loud echo. Go on, give it a go.
No, thank you.
Hello! Very cool. Although Sagada's famous for the hanging coffins that are hanging on the cliffside that we're just en route to, there's also a load of coffins that people have just placed sort of in little inlets in the caves and in the rocks on the way there, where they haven't been able to hang them. And it's something that is part of like the tradition of the older culture. And at least for the hanging coffins, they're hung higher and higher, as you'll see, in order to be closer to heaven. That's the idea behind it. And I guess that when they can't do that, correct me if I'm wrong, because I couldn't quite understand from our guide Mel, but I guess when they can't hang them, they still bring them here to places like this, because it still means that they are higher and closer to the heavens. No, but I've just read online that by tradition you should only shout when someone's freshly been buried.
Yeah.
So it's quite rude to shout just then, right?
So
not here because you're on the burial ground effectively, but up there because you're away from the cliff.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel a bit wary of having done it now. Okay. Okay, so having just struggled to understand what Mel, our guide, was saying about the coffins in the cave, I was just reading up about the area because I still have some signal on my SIM card on my phone here, and it said online that it was in pre-colonial times that people were buried in the caves, and then from then it merged with Christian tradition to start people being buried in cemeteries like the one we saw earlier. However, I also read that it's tradition to only shout in the Echo Valley when there's been like a fresh burial, and it's almost like a cultural faux pas to shout otherwise. And obviously that's something that I didn't know, and I really hope is something that I haven't like caused offence by doing, because our guide did tell us that that was okay. So I really hope that I haven't created a problem there. But we're just arriving now at the hanging coffins that are literally just hanging in the cliffside, and this is what Sagada is famous for, and they look pretty cool. Further down, and there's even more hanging coffins. These are perhaps even more impressive because of where they are. Look, I'll show you where they are. They're just up here, and they're able to get them up there with sort of ropes and scaffolding, Mel's told us, which is just, it's insane to think that they're able to get them and suspend them that high up on the cliff. Crazy. So what are these?
it's called the Arabic coffee. The fruits of the Arabic coffee.
Oh, cool.
You try to taste it. It's very sweet.
Taste it. Do you want to taste it?
Yeah.
Go on, you taste it as well.
I'm alright.
No, go on, just give it a go.
You try it.
Go on.
No, I'm okay, thank you.
Come on.
You eat it then.
I will, happily.
Go for it.
Very sweet.
Mmm.
They are right.
Mmm.
These are made for the coffee. We dry this. After they dry, you make
Oh, they
it.
dry that. And that's
Yeah.
the
So this
coffee
is
bean.
dried.
Ah.
So this is dried and that's the coffee bean, right?
Yeah.
Mmm.
You know the white vegetable? This called like a fern.
Shez, how are you finding doing it in sandals?
Oh man. I mean, I still stand by the fact that these are better than my pumps. They would have been wrecked. But I hope you don't get any of my blooper falls on them.
Yeah.
It's so slippy. It's literally like a death trap.
I love how I'm wearing like walking boots and I'm just like, well, I mean, I'm quite clumsy, so it's just as well. Oh, I just missed one.
This is supposed to be a casual little walk. Oh man.
But then all the guides everywhere and everyone out here always just seems to wear flip-flops and do everything in flip-flops.
Which
Like
is why I thought walking sandals would be fine. Absolutely not.
hiking a volcano, flip-flops. Going through like all the mossy, rivery valley, flip-flops. Everything in flip-flops, basically. Thankfully, I have my walking boots because I'm pretty clumsy and I'd probably fall over. But it's insane that they can do everything in flip-flops. And here we have another river crossing. This is where my walking boots may not be so handy. They're fine as long as it goes up to the ankle in water, which the last time was okay. But I think this time, not going to be so lucky. We'll see. So I can take them off. Cool.
Let's go. You go to here. You step here.
Cool.
Yeah, for the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
And into the cave we go. So we've just reached the Sagada Weaving Centre. We're just going to go and have a look and see how it's made, which is just in here, but there's no taking of photos or videos, so I'm just going to put the camera away. So that looked cool and like back-breaking work, really. It was a shame I couldn't show you guys, but we're just about to go and see some of the products that are made. That was another fail. I'm not going to show you any of the products either because you're not allowed to take any photos or videos in the shop. But they looked kind of cool, I guess. There was nothing that I would necessarily want to buy. But yeah, it's another thing you can do here in Sagada. If I'm being completely honest and frank with you guys, I'm a little disappointed with the guide and the tour that we had. It's not to shame him, and I think a lot of probably the things that I found fault with or that I didn't enjoy massively about having that guided tour was the fact that maybe it was down to like a language barrier thing. The reason we wanted a guide was so that we could learn the significance of the area and the hanging coffins, and fortunately I had data on my mobile so I could find out some things that I needed to, and please do let me know down below if I got anything wrong or if it wasn't right. But I was disappointed in that way because some of what I read online and found out online sort of seemed to directly contradict what he'd said. It wasn't just a language thing, it just seemed that it was completely different. But maybe it was just lost in translation. Also, I'm very worried that by like shouting after he said I could shout and hear why it was called Echo Valley, that would have been disrespectful and not in keeping with tradition. So again, if that has caused offence or it was the wrong thing to do, then I massively apologise, and it would have been easy to edit that bit out, but I think it's important to show that sometimes we get things wrong, and if I have got it wrong there, I didn't know I was going to, and I thought it was fine as the guide had told me to. But if I have got that wrong, then I sincerely apologise, and I hope that you guys know that I wouldn't intentionally do something like that. I think you could definitely do what we did, like the eco tour of Sagada. It was quite a straightforward path. You could definitely do it without a guide, apart from the bit where you need to pay for a guide at the hanging coffins. You could do the rest and not pay the extra for a guide and it would be fine, and you could just read up online whatever you needed to find out. As I say, today in a way was a little disappointing, but it was still absolutely beautiful and really cool to see and learn about eventually. So I think it was still very worthwhile. I just think maybe we could have managed to do it slightly better. And look, it's actually still a beautiful, beautiful day out here, so I think it might be time to fly the drone. And we have had another very chilled out afternoon. It's quite nice with the storms when it comes in because you just have to chill, and I love taking chill days. But today this afternoon the storm wasn't that bad actually,
Yeah,
right?
it was okay.
It was a really, like the clouds were so pink just now as the sun set. It was so nice.
And the rain only lasted a couple of hours as opposed to like 6.
Yeah,
good.
yesterday the rain and the thunder and the lightning was actually crazy. But yeah, we're just heading down, gonna have our final dinner together of this trip, which is crazy to think, like we've done so
2
much
weeks
on this trip.
done.
But yeah, I had a subscriber and good friend of mine who sent a message and some money across and said that I should treat myself and Sherran to a nice meal. So for our last meal, we're going down to a place called the Yogurt House here in Sagada. Is that what it's called? The Yogurt
Yes,
House?
here it is.
Here it is. That was perfect timing. And yeah, it's been recommended. It's meant to be really nice. So thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
CP. We're going to enjoy this meal. We'll show you what we get in a second. Yes, this looks so nice. Salamat. Bye. No power again. Right, guys, and that is the end of the day. That meal was, oh my god, that meal took so long to come. We were so hungry and it took like an hour to come or something. Yeah, but that was very good food. Thank you so much, CP, for that. That was delicious. We even bought some cookies. We got these cookies. Thank you very much for that treat. It was delicious. And I guess we'll check in with you tomorrow to say goodbye to Sherran. But for now, we're going to finish this one up here. So thank you so much for watching. Big love. It feels good around here.